Okay, now we're on conveyancing problem number 11 on page 74. And this is really not that difficult a problem if you understand some laws that I'll go over with you. But let's look at the fact pattern, and it's really pretty logical. So Adam owns the mineral interest, the mineral rights, and he executes a document to Baker. And the language in the document says, I'm granting you all my interest in oil, gas, and other minerals in, on, and under Section 6, but reserving all rights to the surface estate. Okay, so what is included in the mineral estate and what's included in the surface estate? You all know that this can be severed. A different person can own the surface, and a different person can own the minerals. Okay, so A is saying, okay, Adam, I'm going to give you the minerals, but I'm keeping the surface. So you want to obtain a lease from Baker. What substances were specifically conveyed to Baker? And then they ask you which of these were conveyed. Casing head gas, gasoline or distillate, gold or copper, gypsum, fresh water, coal, sand, and gravel. Okay, well, all courts say, when we say the term other minerals, we're only talking about minerals, okay? We're not talking about things associated with the surface like water and like sand or gravel. That's true no matter what state you're in. So for most states, when we're talking about mineral rights, the minerals that are conveyed are casing head gas, gasoline or distillate, gold or copper, gypsum, fresh water is not conveyed, coal is conveyed, and sand and gravel, what we also know as caliche, which is road materials, are not minerals. So therefore, they are not going to be conveyed. Okay, that's most states. Now, Oklahoma is different. Oklahoma says, under the doctrine of, let me see if I can find this in your text. This is on page 59. The doctrine of Eustem Generis. Okay, and that means all of the same kind, all of the same genre, if you will, in Latin. So in Oklahoma, when we say oil, gas, and other minerals, we're only talking about minerals associated with oil and gas. Those in the same kind of class. We're not extending it to all minerals. So in Oklahoma, the only interest that Baker has obtained is the casing head gas, because that's associated with oil and gas, clearly. Gasoline or distillate, yes. Gold or copper, not associated with oil and gas. So you're going to have to get a separate mineral lease covering gold or copper in Oklahoma. Gypsum, same result. Gypsum is not a mineral that is associated with oil and gas. Fresh water, nope, we're not conveying fresh water. That's not a mineral, certainly not associated with oil and gas. What about coal? Coal, again, not associated with oil and gas. So coal bed methane, you're not going to get those in an oil and gas lease in Oklahoma that just says oil, gas, and other minerals. It's got to be minerals that have to do with oil and gas. So coal is not going to be covered, and sand or gravel, because it's not a mineral, just like it was in most states, is not going to be covered. Okay, now, we're not going to go into a lot of detail about Texas, but you do have to know that obviously anything that's associated with oil and gas is going to be covered, and everything else is kind of in question. So casing head gas, associated with oil and gas, gasoline or distillate, gold or copper, well, your notes say it depends. Depends on the amount of when the reservation was made and the kind of surface destruction. So there's really not a clear answer here. Gypsum, same thing. Exact same law applies to gypsum. It just depends on when it was made and what kind of damages there are to the surface. Fresh water, no. In every state in the United States, when we talk about a conveyance of minerals, the surface owner retains the right to the fresh water because fresh water is not a mineral. So they maintain the surface, and that is one way they have to leverage their surface interest. It's because we need access to that fresh water, and so we might give them a really good deal because we're damaging their surface. Coal, same thing. Depends in Texas. And then sand or gravel, just like the other states. No, sand or gravel, what we know is caliche, is not a mineral. So it's really easy to understand it if you just keep in mind that most states cover all minerals, but Oklahoma only covers minerals that are in the same class. And Texas is kind of all over the place. So if you'll just keep in mind what a mineral is, and if it says and other minerals in Oklahoma, that's just associated. In most states, it's everything. And I think this is true in Louisiana as well, and maybe in Kansas. But everywhere else, this is what's going to apply. Okay, moving on to number 12, which is a massive question. So put your seatbelts on, and I'll see you in the next one.